Welcome to the camera tutorial. Catherine here once again. I'll be guiding you through all the cool features found in King Camera's camera module. So let's jump right in, shall we? Let me start by going through the features you see in the main view. At the top right, you have the camera switch button. This feature will only be available if your device has two cameras. Tapping the icon simply swaps between the two cameras. Further down, on the right-hand side, you'll notice the zoom slider. Dragging your finger up and down zooms in and out. The console at the bottom of the screen contains the camera to video switch, the shutter button, and the photo desk viewer. The camera to video switch allows you to instantly go to video mode and shoot HD videos. All of your videos are saved directly to your device's camera roll. In video mode, you can activate the flashlight, lock the white balance and exposure, or switch cameras. The shutter button is where to press to take a photo. The last photo taken can be viewed as a small thumbnail in the photo desk viewer window. Tapping on the photo desk viewer window will bring you straight to King Camera's photo desk. When you take a photo, the camera automatically adjusts the focus and tries to properly expose the photo. In some cases, you may want to manually tell your camera where to focus. Just tap on the screen where you want your focus to be done. Notice also the exposure is being adjusted to that point. Your device is set to read the focus and exposure at the location you tap on the screen. Should you wish to set your exposure and focus at two separate points, King Camera allows you to do it in a very simple way. Simply tap and hold on the screen. You can now tap and drag the exposure icon anywhere on your live view screen to tell King Camera where it should read the proper exposure. And you can tap and drag the focus icon anywhere on the screen too, so your subject is always in focus. Should you wish to reset automatic mode, simply tap anywhere on the screen. On the left of the screen, you can see the camera feature menu. You can easily hide the menu bar by gently swiping your finger to the left. Swiping it to the right brings it back. The menu is packed with awesome features that I'll review one by one with you. First up, we have our flash options. Tapping the flash button brings up a sub-menu which gives you the following choices. When you select on, the flash will always fire when you take a photo. When you choose off, the flash will never fire. The auto flash feature means that your camera will decide when the flash should go off. And finally, the continuous option acts as a flashlight. Just below the flash options, we have the trigger modifiers. Tapping on this icon brings up a sub-menu with 4 choices: self-timer, anti-shake, sound trigger, and burst mode. Let's look at each one in detail. By selecting the self-timer, the first thing you'll notice is a round button that appears in the middle of the live view screen with 5 seconds as the default. This means that when you tap the shutter button, King Camera will start a countdown and take the photo 5 seconds later, like this. Notice the different beep sound for the last 3 seconds. This is a cool feature to warn you that the photo is about to be taken in 3 seconds. Tapping the center button will give you additional timer options up to 30 seconds. One last detail, look at the trigger button on your console. It now sports the self-timer icon. This is a visual cue to indicate that a trigger modifier is currently active. If you go back in the Triggers Modifier submenu and you tap on the self-timer button again, you can now see that this deactivates this trigger. The next trigger modifier is the anti-shake feature. Again, notice the anti-shake icon that appears on the shutter button. Tapping the shutter button activates the anti-shake. You'll see a red circle to the right of the shutter button. As you become more stable, the circle becomes smaller and smaller and changes color towards green until a full green circle appears. This is when the photo is taken. Next on the list of trigger modifiers is the sound trigger. When tapping the shutter button, King Camera analyzes the ambient noise for a few seconds. Notice when I talk, The audio meter is reading the ambient sound live. When a louder sound is made, the photo will automatically be taken. Okay, everybody, say cheese! The last option in the Trigger Modifiers menu is Burst Mode. Selecting this option brings up two circular buttons in the middle of the screen. The first one lets you select the number of photos to be taken every time you tap the shutter button. You can select from 3 to 12 photos. The second button lets you choose between two photo resolutions, full resolution or medium resolution. Let's do a test of 3 photos in medium resolution. Each burst of photos taken is conveniently saved in its own stack in the photo desk. This avoids having pages and pages of photos to filter through. Let's explore the next item in the main menu, the big button. Activating the big button brings up a thin green border around your device's screen. You can now simply tap anywhere on the live view screen to take a photo. That's a great feature, especially when you want to take a party shot with you and your friends and you can't view the screen anymore. One of my favorite King camera features is the time-lapse. In essence, time-lapse is a tool that takes multiple photos and combines them into a movie clip. You know the accelerated sunsets or fast-moving clouds you see sometimes in movies? That's a time-lapse. Let's see how time-lapse works in King Camera. Once time-lapse is activated in the main menu, tap on the Settings button on your console next to the shutter button. First, you need to tell King Camera when to stop taking the photos. You can choose a time limit or the total number of photos to take. I will tell King Camera to stop after 1 minute. Then, you tell King Camera the interval between each shot. I'll choose 1 second, which means King Camera will take a photo every second. You can choose the output resolution of your movie clip. I will choose 720p HD resolution. Finally, here you have the option to shoot manually. That is, take the photos yourself one by one to make your own personal time-lapse animation. If you shoot your time-lapse in manual mode to do stop-motion animation, for instance, you can activate the overlay option to show your previous photo in transparency on your live view screen. Once your settings are saved, you're ready to create your masterpiece. Press the shutter button and off you go. You can press the pause button at any time during the time-lapse. You'll have the option to make your movie, continue it, or delete it. When you select Make a Movie, all the photos taken are combined into a video clip and saved directly to your device's camera roll. Just below the time-lapse feature, you'll find the white balance lock. Tap on it, and the current white balance is locked and remains that way until you tap on the lock again. The last feature in the menu is the exposure lock. It works exactly like the white balance lock, but for the exposure of the photo. Notice if I lock the exposure and move around, the camera exposure stays the same. We've now covered all visible options in the camera live view. Now let's have a look at King Camera's settings. First up, we see general information about the King Camera application, like the version number. Of course, we encourage you to rate King Camera on the App Store and give us your comments so that we can continually improve the application for you. Next are the camera settings. This is where you can activate or deactivate the rule of thirds grid and the sounds. Let me show you on the live view screen. You now see the grid in the live view screen. You can check on King Camera's website to view photo tutorials that explain what the rule of thirds is and how it can help you take better pictures. At the moment, let's go back into King Camera's settings panel. There is also a very practical photo backup feature. When it's on, the photos taken are saved to the King Camera photo desk and to your device's camera roll. So if you delete King Camera from your device by mistake, you won't lose any of the photos you shot. Next is your username. Your username will be added to your photo's metadata. All the King Camera video tutorials are available in King Camera settings. The last option in the settings menu is to restore default looks. This option is linked to the Quickmatic module. If you deleted some of the default looks that came with your purchase of King Camera, you can restore them here by using the Restoring Default Looks option. You'll have the option to simply restore default looks or to restore and delete all your custom looks. And there you have it. This concludes our camera module tutorial for King Camera. You are now ready to use the camera to its full potential. Happy shooting!